How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike The Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Haunted again. I feel like, like I died at the end of the movie. The boogeyman got me. I'm like, it seems like we're always in the horror movies where at the end the person lives. It's not like Halloween or Freddy or Jason where they figure out the way to kill them and then they bring them back in the next movie. Yeah. It's like we're always the Ring, where it's like, nope, look, that guy's still alive. You died. Like, just always kill us in the movie.
We can never seem to put that final nail in the casket, can we, Mike?
Man, and that was an annoying game because they had multiple times to friggin' put that nail in and blew it.
Well, Mike, I know we're going to be talking about that game quite a bit tonight. Before we do that, let the people know where they can find you on Twitter, sir.
At CD Piglet, guys. Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, Mike, before we discuss that mess of a game, we must first discuss food like we always do. It's Meatless Monday, Mike. What was on the menu today? Something good, I hope.
I did not want to eat, but I went to the bank. Veterans Day, the bank was closed, so I had to cash my check Monday morning. And right by the bank, there's this place called Benediction. Incredible breakfast place. And so I had a Blaze of Glory, which is a marinated tomato, mozzarella cheese, a fried egg, and a pesto hollandaise on an English muffin.
Oh my God, dude!
It's seriously, it's something that that my friend, a lady I went and had food with all the time. She always got that, and she could never finish her food, so I always ate half of it. And so when I started going, she kind of moved away from the area. And when I started going by myself there, I had to order that because I was so used to getting it. It's so good. I was like, I'm just gonna get that one. That was always my favorite part. So yeah, that Blaze of Glory there is amazing.
So obviously this is the place that like specializes in Eggs Benedict.
Yes, they do other stuff. Like their French toast is really good. They're like, they have these like pancake batter wrapped sausages that are good. Like they do everything a breakfast place has, but they have 10 specialty Benedicts. And then every season they have a couple of, different ones that change throughout the season, but like their chicken fried steak over biscuit Benedict, and they have chorizo hash. They have a salmon one, a tri-tip one. It's so good. It's delicious.
Do they have a chicken and waffles Benedict by chance?
No. They don't do waffles. I don't think they have a waffle there. They do flapjacks, and they do like French toast sticks, but like incredibly good quality French toast sticks.
Right.
So it's good. Washington's playing their butt off right now. They're up 17-14. They have the ball with 30 seconds to go in the half. They're trying to go down and get some more points at about midfield. So I'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, if Washington can do us a favor tonight, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, unfortunately, we need them to.
Yeah, seriously. Well, Mike, let's talk some football here. I know a lot of people thought we were just going to go run over the Packers and take one from them, man. But did we underestimate the Packers?
I don't think we did. We didn't get to shoot the show, but on the show sheet, I went over some questions on there. One of them was, should we fear this team? And I was like, my answer was, yeah, of course. They have Aaron Rodgers, an MVP. They have playmakers on defense, and Aaron Jones kills us. And so if you just think you're going to, show up and just beat that team at their house, you're crazy. And I looked at yours, and yours talked about 6'4", 4.4 speed, 6'4", 4.3 speed. Like Aaron Rodgers, if he ever gets connection with those wide receivers, it could be trouble. And Christian Watson happened. You basically called it on. I read your notes on there, and you were dead on. And so, I don't think we did. Maybe the national media did. Maybe the Talking Cowboys and podcasts like that. I know none of them picked Green Bay, and a lot of them picked Dallas by 2 scores or more.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we didn't, though.
I wish we could have had that conversation, Mike, because I feel like we would have hit on a lot of things that took place yesterday.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wish we could show people the notes. Like, you literally were like, you got a guy that's like 6'5", runs 4.4. Like, if you leave Anthony Brown one-on-one with a guy like that, he could just go over the top of him. Or Anthony Brown's been inconsistent this year on more than last year, and he could just be beat. And Aaron Rodgers is that type of guy. And it took him a while to get going, but they got us.
Yeah, and man, that first TD to Watson, the long bomb, that was a perfect throw. Anthony Brown could do nothing. He couldn't have done anything better. It was just an absolute throw that you can't put anywhere else. You put it anywhere else, it might not happen. Like, the play might not happen. And Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback that he is, he puts it right where it needs to be. And we saw what happened the rest of the game. But man, it's just crazy how everything unfolded.
And it's funny. Just update 20-14 at halftime. Washington got a field goal.
Okay.
So it's funny because Anthony Brown did get beat that play. But if you watch the game after he went out, they were able to basically play on, Deron Bland and Kelvin Joseph. They didn't even throw at Diggs ever. They were like, we're just not going to throw to him. And Anthony Brown went out. And the other 2 guys, I love Deron Bland. I'm from Fresno. He's a Fresno State boy. And I think he's going to be excellent. But they had him in the slot against Christian Watson on a 4th and 7. And it just, he's going to mess up some of those. He's a rookie. He's not Trayvon Diggs. He's not Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown was missed that game. As much as he's been inconsistent and he got beat that one play, he went out and things changed a lot in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring it up, that 4th and 7. I mean, Deron Bland he can't keep up with Christian Watson. That's just a perfectly drawn up play. And you saw the mismatch in just speed alone, Mike. I mean, what's a rookie supposed to do?
Yeah, and he's a rookie, so you have to, if you're going to play that guy with that kind of speed, you kind of have to do it perfectly. And if you make a misstep like he did, he's not going to be able to keep up. And I love Deron Bland. He's playing his ass off for a rookie. This isn't like, he blew the game. It's just so people understand, like, Anthony Brown is not great. Like, last year, he was a pretty good to great corner. This year, he's been average. But when you have Trayvon Diggs, you can win with average. We've won a lot of games. When you lose Anthony Brown, now you've gone to average is the top you get from a Bland and a Joseph. So it hurt. That injury hurt a lot.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, when you look at this game, who is to blame for the loss?
I'm going across the board because early on, when we had a chance to put the game away, when the defense got us a turnover and was playing good and stopping them, we gave them 2 turnovers that gave them 14 points.
Yeah.
They weren't Dak interceptions. We'll talk about that later. We'll kind of go into detail about that. But we did throw 2 interceptions that led to 14 points for them. So they were allowed to stick around at the time when the defense was fresh and kind of winning the game. And then as they lost Brown and as they tired out, the defense blew the game in the 4th quarter, 14-point lead. But to add on to that, the offense didn't do anything in the 4th either. Like,
exactly.
Rodgers, okay, they tied the game. Got it. 2 minutes left, 3 timeouts. Okay, offense. Green Bay's not that great. You should beat Green Bay. Go down the field and beat them. You put 28 on them. Go beat, and they did nothing. They went 3 and out. So it's an all-around loss. Like, all sides deserve blame.
Yeah, Mike, it's hard to argue with you, but when I look at it this way, it's the defense allowed over 30 points. The defense allowed over 400 total yards, and the defense allowed over 200 rushing yards. I mean, God, it's hard to win when the defense does things like that, isn't it?
Yeah, the rushing yards thing, I get. In the game against Chicago, you were up by so much that you were like, all right, let them run. Then they came back. They made it 23-28. We actually played pretty decent, got back ahead, and then they were running again. This game, we did get up 28-14, but from the beginning, they just were able to run on us. Like, The run defense is a problem right now. And again, for the millionth time you guys have heard me say it on here, in the Dak era, our biggest weakness has been run defense. It kills us in every big game, and it got us again.
And the difference, with Green Bay, new coaching staff, inexperienced quarterback, young team, it's that they knew they could run on us, but they went away from it when they got down. Packers, they just kept chipping away. And then they finally found a way. They got that momentum, man, and we saw what happened.
Yeah. Yep. It was unfortunate if you're a Dallas fan, man. I feel like they let that game get away. Like they should have won that game. And when you're
they definitely lost it.
Yeah, when you're chasing a undefeated team, you can't lose those games.
Yeah, no, not when you're up 14 on the road in the fourth quarter, man, you've got to seal the deal.
It was the first time Dallas ever lost up 14 in the fourth quarter. They were 115-0. They're now 115-1. So add that to Aaron Rodgers' resume.
Yeah, man. And one of the questions was, is Aaron Rodgers the biggest rival in the Dak era? I mean, I didn't get to see your notes, but I think he is. What do you think?
Biggest rival. Man, I would probably have to go Wentz overall, just because there was that time where people really thought Wentz was better. And I was like, he had that one great year in 2017 where he was like incredible on third down, but man, he lived off that year a lot. And people talk about like Dak lives off of years, but Dak's had, a number one offense multiple times. He's had a playoff win. He's played great in another playoff game. Like Wentz had 1 year and then was kind of like, meh. And people were like, oh, yeah, Wentz is better than Dak. And they would always go like, it makes me laugh now because back then it was always like, well, the quarterback throws. What's Dak's throwing yard? And now they have Jalen Hurts and it's like, it's all you got to do is score. Don't matter. And I was like, hey, I remember saying that about Dak Prescott back in the day.
Right. And Dak also, I mean, at the time, he had the greatest rookie season ever. So, not a lot of players can say that.
Yeah, it's still one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah. So, Mike, I didn't stick around to watch any of the press conferences, but apparently there was some scapegoating here by the refs. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? And do you think that the refs get scapegoated too often by the Cowboys?
Yeah, it's gotten too far. Like, don't get me wrong, the refs are bad. Like, the Micah Parsons is not getting holding. He's got 2 holding penalties like all year. Like, that's ridiculous. He gets held. At one point in the game, he was getting held by 2 people looking at the ref like, literally pointing like, you see them holding me, right?
Yeah.
No call. So the holding thing is bad, but I'm kind of getting tired of the we would have won, but the refs thing.
Oh,
like,
right, yeah.
And it's not just Twitter. Like, our team does it. Like, bro, you're up 14 points. Don't throw 2 picks. Don't let a team come back from 14-0 or down 14 in the fourth. And don't put the refs in a position to lose you the game. How about that?
Exactly. Right.
The refs can be blamed, but stop putting them in that position. Put teams away.
In close games, it's rarely ever just one call because you think about everything that leads up to that one call. Like, why did it get to that point?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. There's a lot like the Dez caught it game. You go, okay, refs kind of effed us on that one, But like this game, they're like, oh, it was a penalty on. Well, we talk about it later on, but there was a penalty later in the game, and it's like it was a penalty, but like, why were you tied 28-all when you were up 28-14 with under 3 minutes in the third quarter, up 14 points in the fourth? Why couldn't the defense or offense do something so that you didn't put yourself into position to need a call?
Right. Absolutely. So, Mike, this was an interesting question by you here because I was looking back these last 2 weeks, but what do you think has been figured out about the defense in the last 2 weeks? Because when you look at that Chicago game, I mean, you look at the final score, that doesn't tell the whole story, but what is it you've seen these last 2 weeks about the defense that led you to ask this question?
Offenses have figured out that they could stretch run away from DeMarcus Lawrence, and the mixture of the DN being bad at holding its edge, the corner being bad at playing up, physically at the line, and linebackers not getting to their position fast enough is
Mm-hmm.
allowing stretch runs to kill Dallas. They're just the ones to DeMarcus Lawrence, not so much. That guy led the team with 7 tackles, dude. Like he was tied with Parsons and Donovan Wilson, 7 tackles as a defensive end. Like that side's pretty much closed off. You know, they get some runs through, but most of the time, DeMarcus Lawrence does his job. But
Yeah.
defense are running stretch the other way. So as Dallas has beefed up their defensive tackles that I love, the Hankins and the Bohannas and Osas and Neville Gallimore have done a good job right up the gut of playing defense. Now teams are finding out, like, if Parsons is on defensive end, run at him. If it's Dorrance Armstrong, who up until last year was a pretty damn good edge setter, he's been bad. Fowler's been bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Basham comes back. He's always been a very good run player. I'm hoping he comes back, and when he gets a couple games under his belt, him and Tank could do more of the stops there. That's kind of the hope going forward.
You know, well, as good as Micah Parsons is, why do you think it is something that's so simple as just running at him, it gives him problems?
Well, he's smaller, so he's strong, he's fast, he's powerful.
Right. Yeah,
but he's small as far as like big offensive linemen getting on him at the next level. And so, yeah, they like to go at him and make him have to take on blocks because it wears him down and it makes him a less impactful pass rusher later on, which in this wasn't even necessary, but you know.
Yeah. And plus, when you're getting help, probably 60% of the time, that definitely helps the offense.
60%. I'm not even joking. You just heard me say stop. You know, scapegoating the referees. Like,
yeah,
it's like 85%. Like he's held almost every play. Like, legitimately, almost every play, and it's just never called. They just do not call.
So, Mike, you know, we look at this game. It's tied after halftime. We go into the third quarter. It's like the Cowboys can do no wrong, but the fourth quarter is a different story. What do you think went wrong there?
I think, well, one, the mix of Antonio Brown going out allowed them to pick Green Bay to pick up more third downs, you know, conversions, because we didn't have the cover guys out there with Lewis. When you've lost Jordan Lewis already and you lose Brown, now you're talking, okay, throw some guy over there with Diggs, let him eliminate him, but we're going to work the rest of these guys. And that allowed them to get a bunch of key third and fourth down conversions. But I think adjustments, like, people forget, they're like, man, we were up 14. You know, the defense blew the game. But I'm like, the offense could have done something in the fourth too. Like, yeah, I mean, not like the game ends for them. Well, they're up 4. They did enough. Stop. I don't want to hear it. Stop. They did enough. We don't need to play anymore. Dak did his job. That's it. 28 points. Nobody else scored 28 points. Dak did it. 28 points. No. When the team's coming back, do something. Get a couple first downs. Get a field goal. Score. You can help them out. You don't have to go 3 and out just because you have a 14-point lead. Like, help your team out. So they just they adjusted and started shutting down our offense, and they started moving the ball on our defense, and they were able to win.
Yeah, Mike, I look at it. Maybe I'm putting a little bit too much blame here on the defense. I know that Deron Bland and Kelvin Joseph having to take on guys like a Christian Watson and Alan Lazard. I mean, those are tough matchups, regardless of how experienced any player might be. But our defense did give up 14 points in that one drive, going for 89 yards. Man, I mean, that's you can't allow that, dude.
Yeah, the defense definitely. If you're doing portion, the defense gets the highest portion of blame for this game.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm not trying to say that the offense, like you made some great points about the offense. I mean, at least, you know, have a drive that lasts, 3 to 5 minutes. Give your defense a refresher, even score just a field goal. But, yeah, I don't know what happened, what Kellen Moore was doing, what Mike McCarthy was doing, but our offense kind of just sputtered, kind of like, I don't know if they took their foot off the gas, whatever happened.
Yeah, I feel like it was another game where they threw almost 50 times, like
46 passes.
Yeah, they played the pass well. They're shitty versus the run. Do 35-25, like run the ball. That's what's going to work.
And it's not like Tony Pollard wasn't having success. Even Malik Davis was having success.
But we ran the ball over 5 yards a carry. Malik Davis had the longest run of the game at 17. Like, we were running the ball well. They just were like, we want to pass it.
I don't know. I mean, when you look at it, taking it even deeper, do you think that maybe Mike McCarthy's his emotions, being back at Lambeau for the first time got to him, or did Kellen Moore kind of crumble under the pressure there?
I think it could be a little bit of both. Mike McCarthy right away taking the ball, winning the coin toss and taking the ball. I mean, that's just stupid. Your team's supposed to be about your defense. Like, go out there and get the ball like you would. You want the ball after halftime, so you could try to do a 1-and-1 scoring. Kick the ball off and let your defense get to hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, make a statement with the defense.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if they get it and they kick it to you, fine, do your thing. But I don't really like getting the ball and like taking it. That's not the best strategy.
Mike, as Cowboys fans, it's not often we can say this, but I feel like the refs called a fair game yesterday. Of course, one play that is going to be talked about a lot is that pass interference on Alexander on 3rd down to CD. Did you feel that was a penalty?
Yeah, it was. He got there early. My thing is, I'm not going to put it all on the referees when you blew a 14-point lead. You're not going to get me to go, oh, this one call, like those calls are missed. That was a great play. Washington just made them incomplete. 4th and 3. Let's see if they punt. You're not going to get be more mad about the lack of holding calls all game. That's more impactful than that one play right there. Like, you put yourself in a position to need that play to be called, and you shouldn't have been.
Did you feel that the refs called a fair game yesterday? I felt like early in the game, there were some things the Cowboys did that didn't get called, and I was like, okay, they're going to let us play today.
Yeah, the Green Bay doesn't really have pass rushers. So when you don't call holding, it kind of gets, especially in our last 2 drives, they caught us with 2 holds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you haven't called it all game, and y'all know we're getting held. And then they call – so that – I wouldn't say fair. I understand that, yes, Green Bay got more calls at home than Dallas, and so that's crappy. I don't like blaming them after a game like that. Like, y'all blew the game, period.
Yeah, I didn't look at the final count, but I thought it was like, 8 penalties for Dallas, 6 for Green Bay or something like that.
I think it was 9-6, 9-6, I believe.
I'll take that on the road.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just, like I said, we had 9 penalties against us, and they didn't really have pass rushers. Like, they didn't have a great pass rusher. We have 2 guys that get held a lot, and there's no calls.
Right. Mike, you mentioned McCarthy maybe being a little aggressive yesterday. Going back to Lambeau, a lot of emotions there. But when you look at his decision to go for it on 4th down and overtime, what were your thoughts there?
I understood it because basically, okay, if he kicks a 52-yard field goal, which is no gimme, Mars already missed a couple from 50. Probably, I would give him he definitely could make it, like more than 50-50, But even if you do that, you're basically saying, okay, now you have to stop Aaron Rodgers from getting a field goal or a touchdown to beat you. I think what he was saying is for the risk of a 52-yard field goal, I'd rather go for it and still have a chance to just go down and win the game without Rodgers needing to touch the ball. And I'm all right with that mentality. I'm not saying it's exactly the right call, but I'm okay with that mentality, especially the way Aaron Rodgers dominated you in the 4th quarter.
I was kind of surprised. I thought we might have called a timeout and maybe try to have a better play. But, we were kind of going with that hurry-up offense because we like the personnel they kept having out there on 2nd down. But still, you would think you would take a timeout and try to draw up something good.
100% agree. Yeah, if you're going to do that, make sure it's the right play at the right time.
Right. Mike, Lamb's had some big games, but yesterday obviously has to have been his best as a Cowboys. Did he show you that he has wide receiver 1 ability?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, for a second game, he's not running that dig route. He's trying to take it to the post when the safety's right there, and he was basically, left his quarterback hanging on that interception, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Minus that one play, he went up against the top 3 corner in the league and cut him apart.
Yeah.
11 catches on 15 targets, like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and beat him badly on the second touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, any wide receiver that could do that to a Jair Alexander is impressive, in my opinion.
I mean, you look at the numbers; those are nice. But for me, Mike, it's those mental mistakes, the mistakes on the route, that kind of thing. I mean, his route running is already a big question, which I didn't realize until I saw the Twitter police talking about Lamb and everything. But with the mental mistakes, man, I still don't know how much I trust him, because the when you look at how our other receivers are performing, we still need some more help. And if he was like a Devontae Adams or a DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think that would be a question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's great and he's borderline on star, but I don't think he's reached the superstar level yet. And I definitely don't think he's reached the star level, and he's definitely not a superstar yet. He's got some things to do.
Well, just out of curiosity, off the top of your head, where would you say he's ranked like among NFL receivers for you?
I think I'd get him in the top 20. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, top 20s. Maybe even top 15.
Brown's better, probably Terry. I'm going
Cooper Kupp for sure.
Kupp, obviously. That's no
AJ
doubt.
Brown.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs.
Yes, Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, easy. That's 6.
What about DeAndre Hopkins? Do you think he's still better than CeeDee Lamb?
Who?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I put DeAndre up there. He came back and had like 20 receptions in the first 2 games. Like,
right,
he's crazy.
Devontae Adams.
I go through Devontae Adams. That's an easy one. Waddle and Tyreek Hill, I would put above him. So that right there is 11, and I'm pretty sure I could come up with at least 5 more if we sat the team.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd put him in probably that 15 to 20 range in there.
Okay. Well, who would you rather have though, Deebo Samuel or CeeDee Lamb?
Deebo. Oh God,
okay.
yeah. Deebo's one of those dudes.
Yeah, he's a dude, but man, his injury history is the only concern for me.
Yeah, for sure. If he healthy, yeah, if
exactly.
You're asking me like reliability wise, it's different. But if they're both healthy, I don't think even the hardcore Cowboys fans are going, oh yeah, give me CeeDee Lamb over Deebo Samuel. No.
Yeah, true. Didn't mean to throw you a curveball there, Mike.
No, you're good. You're good.
You talked about that route where he left Dak kind of out there to dry. Did you think that any of Dak's interceptions were his fault?
The Lamb one definitely was. And it's the second time. And I feel better because I got into a thing with Bob Strum, and I told him, I was like, man, I know you know your stuff, dude. So if you think that, that this was about the quarterback, that's fine. Then it happened again, and Michael Irvin came on and was like, this is the second time this guy's not running the dig here when it's supposed to be a dig. He's got to cross safety's face. And I was like, all right, I got Bob Strum on one. I was right, because I watched y'all 22, and I was like, well, no, he's running a post when this should clearly be an in with the coverage. The guy's going underneath to suck up the linebackers, and he goes right in behind the linebackers and crosses the safety's face with a dig or an in route. And it seemed obvious to me, but then when a guy like Bob Strom's like, no, Dak shouldn't have forced this here, the safety had the play, I was like, okay, well, I didn't see it that way, but you're friggin' Bob Strom, of course. I'll back off. Then it happened again. I was like, no, I think I was right on this one, and that's okay. He's where he is for a reason,
right?
Deal. They just got a deep pass into the red zone. The Washington Commanders did. So they're in the red zone again. Terry McLaurin just got a deep ball on Slay. He's killing Slay. Low key, he's killing Slay.
He's slaying Slay tonight, it sounds like.
He just blew right by him.
It's funny how engaged you are on this game tonight, Mike.
Yeah, it's a division game, so it's important. And even the opposite way. Like, we've got 3 losses now. Commanders have 4. 4 and 5. Yeah, that's right. They ended up losing. but like we're right there. Our division is not the lowly nothing division right now. They're beating fools. So, obviously we're going for the Commanders to win because we're still hoping to catch the Eagles. But it's you got to be locked into a game like this. It is what it is. It's interdivision. You got to keep an eye on it.
Absolutely. So, Mike, you had a tweet that could kind of answer this question I'm going to ask anyway, but after this game, has your opinion on Dak changed?
I'm going to let you answer first, because I want to see what you say.
I'm going to keep it real simple for you. Nope, not one bit. I could even show you my show sheet, but no, not even a little bit.
Yeah, see, I don't normally look at I only looked at the show sheet answers because we weren't having the pod.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to see going into the game your thoughts and everything. So when I followed the game, I can go, hey, Paul was right on about Christian Watson. What a good call. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Or what I really was doing, let me see where I could catch a fail. But no.
Right.
But, okay, so I'm going to say somewhat, okay?
Okay.
He plays well enough to win these games. Like, I never feel like there's hardly ever a game where I feel like, man, if it's Dak's fault we lost. I never feel like that. But I feel like in the biggest of the big games, I never feel like there's some, like Aaron Rodgers this last game, just took the game away. He just said, you know what, I'm going to win it. Josh Allen just blew 2 games. He just blew them. He threw interceptions stuff. But that Kansas City game in Kansas City, this one's mine. I'm going to get you one of these. We got 5 out of your 17 games, you get 5-6 of those big time games. And I feel like you got to be able to win a few of those just because you're that guy at quarterback. Rodgers does it. Brady versus the Rams. Terrible all game. Then you gave him that last shot. And I feel like in against the division, Dak does that. And then when it gets to the games, like I went through the games, I'm like, okay, I'm not counting Kansas City. Kansas City, the offensive line had a brand new steal at left tackle, brand new like McGovern at left guard. They had no chance. So that
no Amari, no CD Lamb.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with Dak. Arizona came around though, and I watched, and I was like, Dak was really bad at that game. He couldn't figure out the Arizona blitzes. He wasn't doing good. He never seemed to make a big play. The playoff game, we all agreed Dak didn't play great. He didn't do enough to win that game. Like, he didn't do enough. And then Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was probably one of his bad games, but everybody played bad. So, but he had a bad game. That's one of the few games you can go like, okay, Dak was bad that game. He doesn't have many of those. Mm-hmm. And then this one, like, he didn't have a bad game. He played good. Like, he should have won. He played good enough to win this game. If you look at his numbers, the way he played, and the fact that the interceptions were on the wide receivers, like, you go into it going, well, what more do you want the guy to do? And I'm starting to go a little more. A couple of times I want him to do a little more. Even if it's not fair. It's not fair what Pat Mahomes has to do, what Josh Allen had to do. Pat Mahomes had to make a play in 13 seconds, 2 plays, and kick a field goal to tie the game. That's not fair, but he got it done. Like, I'm not saying, I've seen Dak do it too. That's the thing. I've seen Dak do it. And so I'm not saying he can't do this. I'm saying I've seen him do it. Where is that been? I need that Dak to come back to make a couple of plays. So my thing has changed. Like, you know what? I think the next question, I'm going to go right into the next question. It says, can Dak
go for it?
Right? Okay. I seen him do it. Seattle. He makes a move on Bobby Carpenter, reaches down to the 1-yard line. You knew the game was over. Pumps it. I got him. New England last. Okay, I'll do a loss. Tampa Bay first week. That took him down the field and put them ahead against a great Tampa Bay defense. And Brady got him back. No, you can't put that on. You can't say Dak can't win a big game if the defense gets a stop and they win. Well, then Dak did his job. He did that. So I felt like in that game, he did enough. He took them down at the end. Since New England, though, where he went into overtime, threw the ball to land, since that, I can't another game where I said, Dak took this big game over and made sure we weren't going to lose. He made the plays that, and if he had never done it, if he was Kirk Cousins and I never seen him do it, I wouldn't care. I'd know what he was. But I seen him do it. I know what Dak Prescott could do. I've seen him do it in multiple games, in the biggest of the big games, in playoffs against Russell Wilson, Seattle, who had never lost like a first round, whatever it was at that time. I seen him do that. And lately has not been able to do it. And if it's Kellen Moore, fine. Defense blew this game. Absolutely. I am not blaming. I got into a thing with Stevie, our boy Stevie, on the thing where he's like, well, what more do you want him to do? I'm like, I just want him to do a little more. Well, there was like one play where he threw the ball up to Gallup on Alexander, and Gallup couldn't get the ball. And he goes, well, Gallup couldn't, go up and touch the ball. I'm like, yeah, but Dak could have ran for 2 yards, got the first down. Like, there's a still where he's just about to throw it. And if he just scrambles, first down, the thing continues. Like, I need him to know that that's the better option to keep the game going than throw it up one-on-one to Yari Alexander. Like, that is a play he could have made. Even if it's just that one play, that could have been the difference. Like, I just need him to do a little bit more. Tad even came on. He was like, man, are you really, getting at Dak? And I was like, no, it's not. I'm not blaming Dak Prescott for the loss. He should have won that game. He played well to win, but he didn't take it. He didn't say, we're not losing it. It don't matter. Oh, Aaron Rodgers on the other side. Aaron Rodgers making a comeback. You left me 2 minutes. I got 2 minutes left with 3 timeouts. This game is over. No, he went 3 and out. Like, for whatever reason, a ref's blown pass interference, bad play calling, this and that. He's missing that element right now, and I need that back. So can he win the big game? Yes, but this version of him right now is not doing it currently. They're not winning the big game.
Yeah, it's hard to argue, Mike. You make a lot of valid points there. You mentioned some big games that he's won previously. I am kind of curious because you and I have talked about Dak reaching the next level. And I mean, I think that's kind of what you're wanting to see, right? Is him reaching the next level. And I think we both feel that he has. And I think it's fair to say that, no, he hasn't reached it yet.
Yeah, he at New England, I said he's the top guy for MVP, right? He's the MVP if you made me pick right now. And he's playing the best football of any quarterback in the NFL. I literally said that on the pod. Best quarterback playing the best quarterback of any player. And I think I said top 3 for MVP. And since that game, he's not that guy. And from that guy, he's dropped off substantially. He's still playing well enough to win. He's not the reason you're losing games at all, but he's not playing at that level. He just isn't.
So we saw what happened to Josh Allen last year. You mentioned the Kansas City game in the playoffs. Do you think that Dak would have had as good of a game as Josh Allen, or is Josh Allen on another level than Dak, do you think?
I think right now Josh Allen's playing better. I mean, I don't know if Dak Prescott can go into Kansas City and take that game over. Now, do Bills have a better defense? Maybe. Do Bills have better playmakers? Maybe. Maybe it's not Dak can't do it. I shouldn't frame it that way because you know me, I don't believe wins are a QB stat. But right. I believe I would trust Josh Allen to win a game in the fourth quarter more than I would Dak. Now, I would also say Josh Allen has more of a chance of blowing the game with bad plays early. Like when he throws the interception, a lot of times I'm looking like, what were you doing? And I'm not like, oh, the receiver ran the wrong route. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying like he's head and shoulders above Dak. I'm saying that maybe Dak is the same level of as Josh Allen typically. But if I'm trying to win a game in the last 5 minutes, I would say I'd rather have Josh Allen, Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, those guys Dak isn't at that right now. I don't. He just doesn't do it enough.
Do you think, since Dak has been in the league, do you think that many quarterbacks have had to deal with everything that Dak's had to deal with as far as bad coaching, personnel, all that kind of stuff? Do you think as many quarterbacks have had to deal with that, and could they deal with that and still have the kind of success that he's had?
He is in. I think he's in a uniquely bad situation as far as he has a team with ownership that's very bad. He has very bad owners and front office people. So like they want to win a certain way, and it's kind of stupid for the NFL nowadays. They built their team that way though, so you have to kind of play that way. But if they were like losing Amari Cooper, obviously was a fail. That's why they try to get Brandon Cooks. They try to get Judy. They're trying to get Odell Beckham. Like they're losing Amari Cooper, they're admitting was a mistake. Even if they're saying we didn't want this player, this particular player, they know that they need a guy that talented to have in this team. And so, yeah, he they paid a bunch of money to Ezekiel Elliott. It was stupid. Jalen Smith ended up being a bad contract. Like they picked too many linemen. Like LVE was a bad first round pick. He's played fine, but just a regular off ball linebacker there from Boise State, just a bad pick. It just was. So, they take too many risks in the second round. So yeah, like Dak isn't in the ideal situation. And for more often, way more often than not, he should win a lot more games than he does. Even the big games, he should win. But I just want him to take that step where he says, we're not going to lose. Mm-hmm. I understand all the issues and everything. Stevie and other people who were really coming at me like, oh, some kind of Dak hater. I love Dak. You guys, I'm a Dak defender. But like all the ones that were like, well, the refs, well, holds, well, this, and I'm like, I get it. Overcome that. Like they said, well, if the receiver ran the right route, well, if Christian Watson didn't have a drop and didn't slow down on a route, Aaron Rodgers would have had 2 more touchdowns. But he still
might have 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he came down and won the game at the end. I'm asking Dak to just elevate that much more from being
just make one play
quarterback. Yeah. Go from very good to great.
So, and I'm not being funny, but you look at the season that Kirk Cousins is having. Has your opinion changed on him because of how the way he's been finding ways to win this season?
No, to be honest, I haven't really paid attention to Minnesota. They're kind of like
they're kind of fraudish, bro.
They're kind of like the Giants, and I expect them to win next week. Heads up to our next podcast. After us beating them 2 straight with a backup quarterback, I have a feeling they're going to be pretty highly motivated to play that game. Right. And we are too, but I expect them to be able to run. And I think it's going to come down to Kirk Cousins. And I don't expect Dak to make the play to win it, but I expect Kirk Cousins to not make the play to win it.
I got you. All right, Mike, your view from the sidelines. Micah Parsons, you can't really stop Micah Parsons. You can only hope to contain him. But, when you look at it, why was Micah a non-factor versus Green Bay outside of just the holding, obviously? Or is that really the only thing?
One of the reasons is they played him off-ball linebacker. An off-ball linebacker is just not going to have the impact as an edge rusher does. And they were trying to help stop the run. Like Dan Quinn's attempting to help stop the run. And the thought process is, well, Aaron Rodgers is going to get rid of the ball. He's not going to get sacked much anyway. So put him at linebacker, let our solid defensive line, the other guys pass rush more, and have him run around and help stop with the run. And he led the team with 7 tackles, tied with Wilson and Tank. The problem was by the end of the game, Aaron Rodgers there wasn't a threat out there. Tank isn't, he's great. He makes a lot of plays. But he's not the guy that, like, on every down, you're like, okay, I got to watch out. This guy's going to kill me. They don't have one of those Dot Parsons. And I think it was one of the reasons they were able to get those long, like that play to Deron Bland, to Christian Watson on the 4th and 7, where he got it over the middle and then was able to run the rest of the way, the big deep plays. When there's not that guy after you, It makes it easier to stand in the pocket and be patient.
Yeah, and man, that third down play to Alan Lazard where was it Kelvin Joseph fell down or somebody slipped, man? And God, dude, that's what kind of led to that. Was it Bland?
Yeah,
Jeez,
Bland.
I feel bad for the game that he had, dude.
Yeah, and he honestly he didn't even play bad. Just those 2 downs, he got beat. And when you get beat on clutch downs like that, you're gonna look worse than what you really are.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Here we are with one word, and I want you to give me one word to describe Cowboys Twitter's reaction to this loss is.
I'm gonna say complicated.
Okay,
And
I like that.
the reason I said that is because even I'm kind of sick of losing these games, and I'm about as even keel as it gets. But when this game was over, I was like, I don't want to talk about this team no more. Now, other than like what we're gonna do on the podcast and the articles I gotta do, I don't want to hear about like, oh, we got to do this and this and can they do something? Can they win a big game first for the first time in friggin' basically a season now? Now 8-8 because we were at week 6 in New England. And from then on, we haven't. So that's from week 6 all the way through the rest of last year, the playoff game, and then all the way through to week 10 of this year. We haven't really stepped up and won a big game, that meant something with Dak Prescott as our quarterback. So, and we're not going to win anything with Cooper Rush. So that don't even know. I wasn't saying that. I'm saying Cooper Rush is irrelevant. You're not going to win. You're not going to get in the playoffs and beat teams with Cooper Rush. Dak, you have a chance to. I just don't want to hear about it no more. Do something first. Win some big games. Yeah. I'm tired of the hyperbole. Like, win the games, and then we can worry about 8 weeks from now. 8 weeks from now.
Mike, your timeline is probably filled with a lot more logical Cowboys fans. People closer to the game, things like that. But what I saw on my timeline today, Cowboys Twitter's reaction, in my opinion, to this loss was embarrassing. We're talking about people questioning Dak. I had tweeted out something, and somebody said that he replied to my comment saying, "Cooper Rush wins games, Dak doesn't."
That's stupid. That's
just saying stupid things, dude.
I'll tell you, that's instant mute for me. That's a stupidity. There's stupidity monitors, and if you say anything towards Cooper Rush should be in over Dak Prescott, or he wins and Dak doesn't, just anything dumb, it's instant mute for me. Just to update, the Commanders had got a field goal to make it 23-14. First play of the fourth quarter, Eagles scored a touchdown, 21-23.
Making an who scored that touchdown?
Devontae Smith from Jalen Hurts.
Oh, okay. All right, Mike, here we are with top 5. And this week we're going to rank our top 5 favorite current NFL players. Mike, who's number 5 on your list?
Justin Fields.
Oh, I like that, dude. He's killing it, man. Ever since that Cowboys game, dude.
He's great. And that offense looks really good. Like, they're a special type of running team. And my dad's a Bears fan, so I have to watch a lot of it. And he's just fun to watch, man. That play where he knocked the guy out at the goal line. And even the losing play, he got out of so much stuff before he was finally brought down that I was like, it literally, like, I was like, man, this kid has got a lot of heart, dude. He's taking hits with all the running he has to do. He's getting beat up. And he kept them, like, they probably should have beat Detroit. That missed extra point. It's crazy. And then they kept him in against Dallas, who's just farly superior than they are. But just by his ability to move the ball with his legs, crazy. So I enjoy his game.
He's got the legs, and he's also got the arm and the smarts, dude. He's so dangerous.
And he's like 6'4". He KO'd the guy. And I don't know if the guy's concussion protocol or anything, so I don't want to like overly play it up because I hope the guy's okay. But this is a quarterback that went heads up with the dude at the goal line and put him out cold to score a touchdown.
Yeah, that was nasty. After evading like what should have been a loss in the backfield, he goes in for a nasty rushing touchdown.
He's and that's what makes him so fun is every play you don't know what he's going to do.
All right, Mike, I'm a fantasy guy, so you'll kind of notice a trend here with my list. But number 5 for me, I went with my guy DK Metcalf, somebody who guys, he got passed on so many times in the draft. People didn't think he could do much of anything, just thought he was like a physical freak and nothing else. And you see the career that he's starting to have. But yeah, my guy DK Metcalf, special receiver, just seems like a cool person. You know what I mean? Like you want to go have a beer. Seems like he'd be a good teammate. Obviously, he's great in fantasy. You love what the Seahawks are doing. It's just an easy guy to root for me.
And he had Russell Wilson, who looks as washed as humanly possible, and then Geno Smith, and he's still putting up numbers.
Exactly. Yeah. Then Mike, number 4 on my list, I'm going with my guy Lamar Jackson.
LJ, the running back from Baltimore, right?
Yes, sir. The wide receiver.
Oh, you took it to a new low, sir. Tom Brady, wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm on my list. You'll notice it's guys that like were counted out before they even took a snap on the field. So
I didn't look, but I'm pretty sure I'm watching one of them, and it's gonna make me sick when you say his name. Make me sick. Anybody naming from these two teams, I hate.
All right, Mike, number 4 on your list.
Tua. And this one's kind of a package deal because of who he's throwing to. Because I honestly, the guy I really love is Jalen Waddle. I love him. He was my
dude, yeah.
guy. It was for me, it was Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle as I think it was 1 year and then the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Their draft classes. I think Jamar
No, they were the same draft class.
Well, they were in the same one.
Man, I think so.
How nasty.
Or
I think Jamar Chase might have went 5th and Waddle maybe 7th or something.
Yeah, I know they both went top 10, but yeah, I thought they were the same draft class.
Man, that's disgusting. But I just love him. But Tyreek Hill is fun. Like I want him on my team. Don't get me wrong, because we need the extra body, especially the scare Michael Gallup had. But imagine if OBJ went to the Miami Dolphins.
Oh my God, dude! What in the world?
How is that not brought up? How is that not brought up on TV either? Like,
I'm surprised he hasn't labeled that as a destination either, just because the weather, what they're doing. I mean, that trio of receivers would be just so filthy, dude.
Yeah, and they're winning football games, and it's in a nice warm weather, area. I'm surprised that nobody's kind of been like, hey, Miami, dude.
That coach could do so much with adding OBJ, dude.
Oh, disgusting.
It would not be fair.
That's nasty. It's gross.
All right, my number 3 on your list.
Jamar Chase.
Oh, like it.
He's probably my favorite receiver in football. He was. I told people he was the best. He was one of the best receivers in the NFL before he even exited to go. Like the year before, he sat out a year. Yeah. I was like, oh no, he's spectacular. I'll take him. And to my discredit, Trevor Lawrence was the other guy. I thought Trevor Lawrence was a monster. Mm-hmm. So I was like, Trevor Lawrence and Jamar Chase are just going to be disgusting on the NFL level. And I was right at one of the two. Not that Trevor Lawrence is a bust or anything, but Jamar Chase is a superstar. Like
took over the league immediately.
Oh, and got to be with Burrow again with that connection. They made the Super Bowl because Burrow was like, oh, I'm in trouble. Just launch it down to Jamar Chase.
Yep. Mike, he called number 3 on my list. You're watching him tonight. He just threw a touchdown pass to Devonta Smith. Jalen Hurts, quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
You picked
like Tua, man. I mean, people counted him out early in his career. And what is he doing? What are they both doing?
What team does he play for?
I know, Mike. I understand. But I'm a sucker for like the underdog, man.
I hate his guts.
I almost had Josh Allen on this list. I do like Josh Allen, but the reason I really liked him is just wanted to see him succeed is because when he got drafted, people like in fantasy circles, like this guy's not accurate. He's never going to do anything. He's not a franchise quarterback. And we're just like, watch him bust this, that, and the other. I just love to see what he's become.
Yeah, he definitely ain't nobody saying he's a bust. I can promise you that.
Yeah, if he's idiotic. Yeah. All right, Mike, number. Uh-oh. What happened?
I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got another interception.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Heineke.
Off everybody.
All right, Mike, number 2 on my list. This guy kind of holds a special place in my heart because when I first started playing Dynasty football, he was like one of the college guys that actually knew his name and watched him play and was excited for him to come in the league. Hollywood Brown, aka Marquise Brown, wide receiver for the
Wow.
Arizona
Hollywood.
Cardinals.
I
Love
did
him,
not
dude.
see that one coming. Is he
Yep.
playing right now? I thought is he not hurt?
He was injured. He's been injured, but he's close to returning. Might be coming back this week, I think.
Wow, I didn't expect Hollywood Brown to come up. I won't lie. That I figured I knew your top two guys.
Okay, now that you say that, I have a feeling I might know yours.
You don't.
I don't? Okay.
No, mine's going to shock a lot of people.
So why are you so shocked about Hollywood Brown? Just because you don't think that highly of him as a player, or
no? I don't. He has never really been very special in the league, but it's not that. I just figured Dak and Micah were your top two.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. So Micah, so no, it has to be Dax has to be your number two, right? Because I think Micah's your number one.
Two's Trayvon Diggs.
Oh wow!
Love Trayvon. I'm down on Dak right now. He's sixth. I put him below Justin Fields because he made me. He's
angered you.
Yeah, he's upset me with and the thing that sucks, he didn't really do anything wrong. Like, he played a good game. He played a really good game. He should have won that game, but it's not that game. It's the trend back since New England that I'm like I love Dak Prescott, but I'm kind of annoyed watching him play. I don't know how. I just want to see him.
He had a look in his eye yesterday after that game that I've never seen before.
Yeah, and it's a look that a lot of us had. It's like we just, this is what always happens. They just find a way to fail. It's
same old Cowboys.
Yeah, and I'm not watching the shows this week. I'm not watching any of the Skywalker. I love your content, Skywalker and Jeff and the Talking Cowboys. I don't want to until Friday and they're picking the next game. I'm not going to watch any of it. I just don't want to hear it. And I definitely am not watching the stupid, because this is the week that everybody will be on all the shows. Oh, look what happens. Yeah. And I just don't want to hear it. So I've just gotten to where I love Dak Prescott. Like, I want nothing more than Dak Prescott to win. Like, I just think he's a great human being, but I'm kind of like tired of watching him. I'm like, until they do something, I'm kind of sick of it. And I think if the defense continues to give up 200-yard rushing games, I'm going to get that way on the other side too. It's just they kind of held it together for us while Cooper Rush was playing. And so I'm not mad at them yet. Where I look and like, Dak played bad against Tampa Bay, and then he didn't just quite elevate like I wanted him to against Green Bay. He played good enough to win, but he didn't play that great game to take him by the throat and go, nah, we're not losing. And the 2 wins against Bears and Lions, I just don't care. Like, if he goes
you have to win those games.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Minnesota's 7-1, and if they go in and beat him, I'm not going to be like we beat him the last 2 years as our backup quarterback. Like, it's basically the same team. So I'm not like pumped up for that game, even though I will be once the kickoff hits. But I'm not like, all right, let's go. So yeah, Trayvon Diggs, my guy, because you have to enjoy watching him play, because if they throw it to him, you don't know if it could be interception every time. You just don't know. Now, Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm not going to throw to that guy, but I just love watching him play football.
All right, Mike, number one on your list is Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course. Well, number one on my list, Mike, it's Dak Prescott. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't.
You said.
I don't. But I figured Dak or Micah. So Micah didn't make your top 5.
I mean, I could have easily had him in there. I could have had him at number 1 over Dak Prescott, but I kind of wanted to mix it up. Honestly, that's the only reason he wasn't in there, because he could easily have been either number 1 or number 2. But I just wanted to mix it up. And again, I mentioned, like when I think about fantasy, maybe fantasy had a little bit too much impact on the list, but I like having Trayvon Diggs in your top 5, dude. That's nice, because he's been a beast this year.
Hey, we can almost make it under an hour.
Almost. Well, Mike, before we get out of here, remind the people where they can find you on Twitter.
At CD Piglet, guys. Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully under an hour.
Go. 10.